I really feel I need to preface this review by mentioning that I am a fan of Grey's Anatomy. I like the show. For God's sakes, I'm wearing a Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital sweatshirt. I wore it in my last review. I bought two. I have a gray one and a blue one. I love this show. I've binged it many times. I think each season has its own particular space because I think each one's very unique, and I really, really love it. Hell, I love the spin-off Private Practice. But this episode was the weakest of season 15 so far. And quite frankly, from the trailer, I thought it was going to be the best. Now, that ending was amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like, that ending truly, like, changed part of my thoughts on the episode. But the majority of it, the first 55 minutes, well, 37 if you exclude the commercial time, was so bad. And that's harsh. It wasn't so much bad, but it didn't make practical sense because you had some really cool storylines that had a lot of potential, and it went nowhere. And it really bummed me out that I didn't like the episode because I loved the trailer. In fact, I thought the trailer was going to be, from the trailer, I thought this was really going to be the strongest episode of the season. So I have some notes. We're going to go through it. And this episode is Day of the Dead base. So, we talked about characters, or the characters on the show, talked about characters that have passed away. And the one that got the most mention, surprisingly, was Lexi. And don't get me wrong, I love Lexi, but you would think that maybe Derek would have a little bit more mention. And we'll talk about Derek at the end of the episode. And also, the trailer really, really hyped up Thatcher coming back. And Jeff Perry is a great actor. I said that in my last two videos about Grey's Anatomy. But he wasn't there. Like, the trailer literally hyped him up. And I get, like, keeping out of the trailer, but he wasn't in the episode. And the first rule of movies and television is show, don't tell. And they just told us that he was sick. So that also bothered me quite a bit. However, I did love the fact that Meredith mentioned to Maggie that Thatcher doesn't know about Maggie. And then I really like the fact that Maggie was grieving her mother again. Maggie's mother died in season 13, and it's very much been very impactful on Maggie as a character. And I love the fact that she was able to mourn her mother in the episode. And again, I've said that Kelly McKeary can go from being funny to sad or dramatic on a dime. And in this episode, in the beginning, she was being hilarious. She had a great line about Teddy. And then throughout the rest of the episode, she was in mourning. And honestly, I felt bad for her. And I love that. I love the fact that I had empathy for Maggie. But in all honesty, like, Maggie's mother, great character. Maggie is a great character. And like, the relationship that her mother has with her had with her was fantastic. But you have so much other precedent with dead characters that they only get a little nod at the end. It seemed a little insulting to Grey's fans. But also, as a huge fan of Lexi Grey, I loved all of the Lexi mentions. So this episode had really three storylines. We had Meredith's storyline, we had Link's storyline, we had Joe's storyline, and I can't count the Teddy Owens storyline. I mean, it exists. It's 4 storylines. I mean, technically it's 4. But it was so bad. It was so bad. In an episode that is called Day of the Dead, or in an episode that is themed around Day of the Dead, and you don't have Amelia talk about Derek at all, there's a problem. I mean, Amelia she broke down when Derek died, so it was just so bad that she didn't get to talk about him at all. And that hit me really hard, because I like Amelia, I like Derek, and I was very upset the fact that she didn't get to talk about Derek at all. I mean, it was interesting, like, her being so obsessed over Betty, but I was like, why isn't she at the hospital? Like, let's have Owen and Teddy try to figure out what's going on with Betty over there, and let's have Amelia work with Meredith, and have Amelia and Meredith bond over Derek, because, I mean, Derek's death caused a massive rift between the two of them, and I just thought, it would have been really nice. One more thing before I go into the particular storylines is I like when TV shows have messages. Don't get me wrong. I think movies and TV shows have the ability to express a message, especially that the writers and directors want to get across. This episode did something really weird, and I don't think it will make sense to non-United States viewers, particularly once this fall is over. Essentially, the beginning of the episode, it had Alex talking about reminding people to vote because in about a week and a half, it's the voting in the United States. And I get, telling people to vote. It's a very important thing to do. But it was specific for the upcoming election. And I just didn't think that's not going to make sense later. I mean, again, if you're not in the United States and you're watching this, you're gonna be like, what's he talking about? What does voting have to do with the episode at all? And quite frankly, it didn't. Now, I like when Grey's is able to do messages such as the sexual assault with Harper Avery with Harper, that was good. Oh, or my favorite episode of season 14, the Personal Jesus episode, where they talked about how African Americans are prejudiced by cops. I thought that was a fantastic episode. I didn't review season 14, but I thought that episode was just really powerful. Just the prejudice that those of color or anyone can feel from those of authority was amazing. And I really, well, the prejudice was amazing. The message in the episode was amazing. So I really did like that. So I like when they can flow it in like that, but when you're just go vote, I was like, why? That's stupid. So, like I said, there are things that the episode had that was good, which is the end, and then there's all the other storylines. But this review is going to be a little longer, just because the beginning, honestly, quite frankly, is a rant. All right, so storylines. Link's storyline was cute. He had a kid, he had cancer, and, the kid's going to have his cancer removed. But quite frankly, with Link's storyline, I think I would have liked Callie more, because Callie could have connected to the mother, with having Sophia. She could talk about how Sophia was, born premature, and how she had to do all these things to, keep Sophia alive, and how Callie's dealt with other cancers on the bone. That would have made more, I think that would have hit home for a lot more viewers, quite frankly. I mean, I don't know. There's something about Chris Carmack I just can't get on board with. And also, the blatant shipping that the characters themselves are doing, or particularly Joe, to put Link and Meredith together is stupid. I'm sorry, no. I love that at the end of the episode, how there was the goofy gag between DeLuca, Meredith, and Link together, showing a possible love triangle there. I mean, DeLuca and Meredith makes more sense. He's sort of a young Derek. I like that. I mean, is it cradle robbing? I mean, he's 28 and Ellen Pompeo's 48, so I guess it's cradle robbing in essence. But I don't know. I feel that they're cute. I mean, I think it might cause some drama in the hospital, some rumor mills to get started. But quite frankly, I would rather Meredith date DeLuca for 3 episodes than date Chris Carmack, who's also younger than her too. He's about 36, I think. And then under Chris Carmack, we have Alex Landy's Nico Kim, who's hitting on Glasses, and he talks about how Glasses is his type, which I found hilarious, because Nico Kim's a really jacked guy, and it's interesting, how what people are attracted to. But then poor Glasses, he makes out with him, and he says straight up to Dr. Kim that this was his first time making out with a guy, and he's like, oh yeah, no, I can't do that. I'm not doing this this whole coming out of the closet, etc. story spiel with you. And I was like, okay, this whole plot line is tokenism and queer baiting. I was like, it's foolish. I think the better storyline would have had him be okay, let's go out, let's talk. I just, the fact that he was so attracted to him, and the second that Glasses said, oh yeah, no, this is my first time, blah 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 blah, I was just like, what? Why would the reaction I felt was very wrong. But I just don't understand the purpose of hyping. I mean, I don't think sexuality should ever be a pinnacle point of a storyline. I don't think, unless it's designed that way, for a film, it's a coming out film, that's when it would make sense. But I think when it comes, I don't think a character's sexuality should ever drive a TV show storyline. What should drive it is, you know, their personality or, you know, their actual characteristics, because I don't think sexuality is a characteristic. It's not. So anyway, I just thought that the Ortho storyline was just very lame. It was very, very lame, is the right way to describe it. But speaking of lame, the worst of the storylines was honestly Teddy, Owen, and Amelia. I mean, again, Katarina Scorsone, why isn't she mourning Derek? Like, this would have been a perfect opportunity. Instead we have her freaking out over Betty. Betty! Who could take away Leo if she gets better? And she wasn't even in the episode, so they didn't even find her. So now we still have to deal with that next week. And that wasn't even in the trailer, which I thought was also annoying. And then, why on earth will Teddy not tell Owen she is pregnant? I mean, come on, Teddy. Let's just scream it. You know he wants a kid. You know he loves you. You know you love him. Scream it. Say you're pregnant. I mean, I feel that Kim Raver and Kevin McKidd did so little in this episode, and Kim Raver's done so little this season, which is sad because she's fantastic. I'm wondering, like, is she bored? I mean, I would be bored. I mean, all right, I'm just sitting here. It just, I love this show. I know I'm being very, very hypercritical of it at the moment, but the fact that Kim Raver, whose character told Owen back in season 8, I believe it was like episode 14, that she hated him. She wasn't afraid to nail him to the cross. Can't tell him something that's, like, she lost her husband and now she's pregnant. Like, she has the courage and the confidence. We've seen Teddy's character do this. Why isn't it coming out? Oh, it frustrated me quite a bit. And then I did very much enjoy the Bailey Joe storyline. I thought that was probably the highlight of the episode. I think Chandra Wilson is fantastic. Camille Luddington is funny. They worked really well together, bringing the dead liver back to life. It fit the theme of Halloween and Day of the Dead and the like. So that was really cool. I did very much enjoy that. That was probably my favorite storyline. And then we have Meredith and DeLuca, and I think and Alex was in the operation, operating on that little girl. And I actually liked, you know, Meredith's interactions with Alex and DeLuca. Like, that was cute. And then at the end of it, Meredith is talking to the family, and then, you know, it gets to that beautiful scene of chasing cars in Spanish. It was fantastic. I want to get that song, that version of it. It was absolutely fantastic. And then you see George, you see Lexi, you see Mark. I was so happy we got to see Mark. Eric Dane has gotten very few mentions in the show since he's died. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. And that's really kind of it. So, quite frankly, I think that this episode had a lot of potential to be quite amazing. Also, Richard Weber did nothing. Jackson, nothing. And it's just like, Jackson, he started this Crisis of Faith storyline, and I thought, this is amazing. Then Richard comes in this episode with talking about Thatcher, and him and Thatcher have a very complex history. So why would you not have Thatcher in the episode to, you know, hype up, you know, Richard essentially being like, goodbye, Thatcher, because I guess he's going to die. So where is Jeff Perry? They said he was coming back, unless it's just truly a mention, which I think is lame. The episode just had so many flaws. However, that ending sequence with Meredith walking back, you know, hearing George, or not hearing George. She couldn't hear George because he's dead, but she heard Derek. I think she might have sensed Lexi's presence. It was fantastic. Like, that sequence really made the episode for me. Meredith's sequences really made the episode for me. I have a note. I really liked when Meredith talked about her person with Alex, or with Link about Alex, and vice versa with Link talking about Joe. I thought that was cute. So the episode had some cute moments, but I don't think it lived up to the hype that it was. So, lowest rating ever. I had, on a scale of 1 to 5, 3.5 out of 5, because quite frankly, that ending sequence saved it. It truly, truly saved it. But when you have so many other good storylines that were just wasted, it can't get beyond that. They need to fix the Nico Kim storyline ASAP, or the Alex Landy storyline. They need to fix Alex Landy's storyline fast, because he's only said like maybe 10 words in the last 5 episodes. And this one, he maybe said 2 sentences. But they need to fix it. They need to fix it fast. They need to... This is supposed to be the season of love, right? Well, don't put Meredith with Link. Put Meredith with DeLuca. Make some fun gossip in the hospital. And Teddy needs to tell Owen that she's pregnant. ASAP. Also, one more thing. I did like in the episode In the trailer, I really thought that Jo was going to have a more of a personal problem, not a professional problem with Alex, but she was very much concerned about the liver going to the body because Alex had stopped it. And I thought, oh, damn, this is the pot calling the kettle black with Alex, but then at the end of the episode, he forgave her. They had I believe it was episode 1 or 2 where Weber was being very judgmental of a possible alcoholic patient in episode 1 of season 15. I thought that was very ironic too. And I don't like when the characters kind of go back because when they've done stuff that has eventually worked out and then they don't allow other people to do stuff. It's not good character development because you go, well, Alex, you're being hypocritical. Weber, you're being hypocritical. But yeah, there was just too many flaws to make it an A episode. It's more of a B minus C plus episode, quite frankly. But the trailer looked good for next week. I'm very curious to discuss that. There's a couple plot points I'm very curious to discuss. So anyway, that is my thoughts on Grey's Anatomy Season 15, Episode 6. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I know this review was a little bit more critical for those of you who are new to the review. Please share your thoughts about the episode in the comments below. And all of you, please, thank you for those who are new for watching. Let me go with that. And please, everyone, share your thoughts in the comments below. And I'm really looking forward to discussing Grey's Anatomy going forward. All right, guys, talk later. Bye.